So this turned out to be the culprit. This O-ring that goes all around here was frayed badly. There was bits of it sticking into the fuel flow. That O-ring seats this check ball here. And I guess that when it was plugged in, it was creating enough of a leak or a blockage that it didn't let the fuel flow through the hose. So let's take a walk out to the outside and I'll show you a little bit more. It deteriorated quite a bit and it wasn't making a good seal, so that's why I couldn't fill the fuel hose. So I've put the good fitting on the other end and it pumps just fine using this pump, which is a standard pump for priming the fuel line. I can pump this fuel line now with it attached to the gas can, and works just fine. I get my prime up and I think that'll fix it. Now here is my adaptation. I didn't want to carry a whole bunch of fuel around with me, and particularly I didn't like those big clumsy fuel tanks that sit on the cockpit floor. So I made up this small fuel tank out of a regular 1.25 gallon, 5-liter tank, and I put a vent on it using a simple valve from a tire that is from an automotive wheel. I took the core out and I just loosen this up when I'm out on the boat, and I can seal it up this way to keep the fumes when I'm not using it or transporting it. And what I did was I got some fittings. This fitting here, tank fitting, is set up with a male end to it, national pipe thread, and then this fitting on the inside is a female to mate up with it, and it has a barb. So I just got some fuel resistant tubing, made that for my pickup. I took the existing mechanism of this system and just drilled a hole and made some gaskets there, and I was fortunate enough to find an O-ring and a grab bag of assorted O-rings at an automotive store, and that fit. And then the whole assembly just goes like this with the cap on, tightens up, and then I plug the hose into it. I like the idea, and it was a good idea I had it, of having this sight glass. These are fairly inexpensive fuel filters, and I'm an advocate of filtering the fuel as much as you can. So I made up this very special short fuel hose. I put the inline fuel filter in, and yesterday when I was putting the boat on the mooring, this came in really handy because I could tell pretty much what the problem was with the engine not running, that it was fuel starvation, because I couldn't fill this, and this rubber bulb was getting very tight. No matter how hard I squeezed it, I wasn't getting fuel into here. So that told me there was probably something wrong from here in. And sure enough, when I took it apart, it was evident what the problem was. So there it is. This thing fits right into my little box that I put on the engine bracket. The whole thing sits overboard, so if there's any leakage or, God forbid, a fire, it's fairly easy to manage the situation.